We are live and we're here to get our happy back. Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Renee Ostertag and this is my co-author,
Willeen Dunn. Great to be here.
Hey. Besides these dogs, who is great. We're going to let her go put them away and I'm going to entertain you. Can you go do that? Do you mind?
No.
And I want to check in with everybody here. There's people here live. Who are you? Where are you tuning in from? Live or later, when you contribute by telling us who you are and where you're here, where you are from. You're clicking into this time and space. And I'm telling you, from writing this book with Willeen, there's an energy in this book that lets you tap into your authentic self. It changes the circuits in you. And you can connect in with that when you tell us, and who are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jody, asphalt dancer, Summer, Elise. Hi. Oh my gosh, this is me, like up in a high yellow, excited state to see you all. Hello, asphalt dancer. I need to come to your house. I was thinking about you this morning because the final two words in this book are healing happens. And that's such an overview of what this book is about. Healing can happen. Elise, Summer, Jody, do you all have proof that healing can happen? Sometimes it seems impossible. But it can happen. And that is a truth that I believe in. I believe that tissues can heal and trauma can end. And that's what this book's about. So Willeen and I are here today. Dr. Robin Gisbert is also here. Really happy to see you and to know you're here. So Willeen and I wanted to just share a couple little background stories from the book, like how it shaped us. And we'll share one of the main practices that we have found to be really helpful and use a lot. So Willeen, everybody's tuning in, timing in, and Summer is beginning to embody healing more and more each day. So I'll start with this book. We just published it. It came out this week, Getting My Happy Back, How to Think and What to Do When Body and Mind Collide. Humans are three intelligences: how we think, how we feel, and what we do. And that can come from a place of safety within you, and then things will feel resourced and capable and alive. Thinking, feeling, doing can come from a place of threat in you. And then life gets a lot more harder and trickier. And none of this is a character flaw. None of this is something that you choose. It's all happening because of past programs that got plugged into your nervous system. And so we share through science and stories how to become more aware of those circuits within you and how it shows up in your thinking, feeling, and behaving. And how can you think, feel, and behave differently to start reorganizing how your circuits are wired?
So one of the best ways to do that is a 3-word check-in. So every time when we would start our writing together, Renee would ask me, what's your 3-word check-in? So do that with us now, and I'll give you mine. Happy, excited, meeting Renee for the first time in person. We wrote together for almost 3 years, but this is our first time to be in each other's presence.
Yes. I live in Denver. You live in Dallas.
And she's in Dallas now to do a book signing and workshop at CSL Dallas tomorrow. So it's very exciting. And you can join us online.
On Sunday.
Yes. Not tomorrow. I'm a little...
Tomorrow in Australia.
Yeah.
You got that part right.
Sunday. And you can join us online. But my 3-word check-in is happy, grateful, and honored to be here with you. So what's yours?
Thank you. I'm letting that land. And a 3-word check-in is taking a moment of exquisite attention and bringing it to your own skin encased body. And with the lens of a curious observer, what is your present moment experience, and what are 3 words that give sort of a flavor of what's here? Nervous, peaceful, and optimistic. So when we do a 3-word check-in, it's this invitation to pause the carousel, merry-go-round roller coaster of life and take a moment and just hit the pause button, get grounded, get present. And when you do that, you regulate your nervous system. You bring it back into safety, because whatever it is inside, good or bad, you're giving attention to it. And when you label it and put a word on it, you make the good stuff in your brain even better, and you make the bad stuff less bad. So we've got some gorgeous 3-word check-ins coming in. Please take a moment, type yours in, and do one for yourself, because it helps.
I love Robin's blessed, inspired, and grateful. Thank you, Robin. I love that.
Yeah.
And see, when you share like that too, that puts you in that place of feeling. And we did that a lot with our writing. It helped us to ground together. And I could hear her and she could hear me. And then we could also lean into each other's 3 words. Like when Robin said, blessed, grateful, and inspired, I can really feel that in my body. And I love that. So thanks for sharing.
It shows the power of connection, right? We're in Dallas, Robin's in Denver, and yet there's a connection there. And one of the other things about a 3-word check-in that I really love is that it trains my system to hold space for good and bad, right? Like I felt nervous, and a past version of me would have been like, oh, you shouldn't be nervous, which then only heightens it. And so being able to practice all the feelings, good and bad, and have space for all of them, I become more tolerant of all of it. So 3-word check-in is where we started.
Yes.
And
then being tolerant of the colors. We talk in the book about the around the world storytelling.
Yeah. So what is that? Around the world storytelling.
Associating yourself to all your colors. And so when you tell a story, if I have a story that I'm telling, I want to tell it in all 4 colors. So my story with Renee coming in, and it's been a lovely experience. But if I had to choose a red story about it, it was like, it wasn't soon enough. She could have been here faster. She could have been here, yesterday. Not really, but right. That could be a red story. And my blue story, I'm really sad that we don't get to spend years together because she's going back to Denver. But my green story would be, I'm so grateful that the book's done, grateful we get to go do a signing, grateful that she's here, grateful our energies are the same. I mean, we just fell right in like we've known each other for years. And so in yellow, so happy, so excited, so lively, so enthusiastic that tomorrow we've got this book signing and this workshop that we're doing together.
By tomorrow, she means Sunday.
I mean Sunday. On Sunday, 1 to 3, CSL Dallas, and you can join online. But that's around the world storytelling, is being in all 4 colors. So when you have a story about something, especially about something painful or some idea of I'm upset with someone, to tell the story, to experience all your emotions, because there's never just one thing going on.
Yeah. So around the world storytelling is 4 different colors, right? Red is high energy, less pleasant. And it seemed like red for you was not oriented in this present moment. And it was not enough time, right? So blue is also a less pleasant. So we've got red, blue, green, and yellow. And I've never really thought about it in this way. And this is one of the things I liked about the book, is that Willeen would challenge how I think about things, because I have my way of thinking and Willeen has her way of thinking. And it was like, oh, hold on, let me put these all together. But both red and blue stories, right, high energy, low pleasant, low energy, low pleasant. Both, there was not enough. Insufficiency. This is wrong. This is bad. This doesn't feel good. Versus the green and the yellow story really were about not only just like there was abundance there and sufficiency. There is enough, and I am grateful for, and I am glad about. So that's around the world storytelling. And that was one of the more beautiful practices that initially came out in a client session, patient session. And then I shared with Wileen about it. I said, I think there's something to this. And I do want to give credit to Mark Brackett, who wrote the book Permission to Feel and founded the Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence, because he created this mood meter with the 4 colors. And we kept playing around with it. And it just really morphed and emerged and evolved into this kind of gamification where I would challenge and we would challenge. Now, writing a book with somebody, what is it that you always say?
I always say, if you want to heal something in your life, write a book with someone.
Us humans, we get hurt in relationship and we heal in relationship. My biggest takeaway from this book was being challenged in this process of writing a book and the healing that occurred. I had some red stories that Wileen and this process challenge. And I think we do this a lot. Maybe you can relate, where you believe something is true, and it is. I think the biggest mistake is believing with a strong, rigid body that subjective truth of yours is also objectively true around the world.
And that's one the around the world storytelling really supports that, right?
Yeah.
By telling all the other colored stories with that one story, then gives new perspective.
Yeah. So around the world storytelling was such a cool gift that really got emerged in this book. And the biggest gift I think this book gave me is challenging new ways to think in these old patterns, where I had a physiology that was kind of stuck in seeing the world in a very red way, living in a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear and a lot of neural expectancy that this is bad, you're bad, this is wrong. And when we would have like a debate or a rumble about a story or how to
frame something.
Yes.
Renee likes to tell lots of detail. I'm like, this is a book and it has a cover and it's called Getting My Happy Back. If Renee were to describe this book, this is a book. It has yellow on the top and top in the bottom, and it has Getting My Happy Back. And it also says, and she's very descriptive. And so we got to really play with that, right? From one who's just like, this is this, let's move on, to I think we need more here. And I think both are amazing. And when you can have that not be a fixed story, like this is the way it has to be, you can play with, okay, I can expand a little here. Yeah, talk a little more about that. Or she would say, okay, we can shave a little bit of that off. I can see where that, might not be supportive of the readers. So just to encourage you too, I mean, find a story right now that maybe has you upset, or something around your health or finances, or and just do the around the world storytelling with it. Get new perspectives on that one perspective, the only way you think it is or can be.
There was, I think, maybe 3 times where I, truth be told, my red story wanted to freaking punch you in the face. And there was such an aggressive frustration because I wasn't feeling heard and I wasn't feeling seen. And that was a very red story. And I had these blinders on and couldn't see anything else but red. So I think there was about 3 times where I either hung up the Zoom call or I stepped away. I said, I need a break. I'm coming back. And then I would cool off and the red grip would sort of let go a little bit. And then I would come back and Wileen would ask, what's the blue story here? What's the green? What's yellow? What would green say? And then we could talk about what had happened when I was in my red. And it was quite an unexpected process of healing for me because the red finally felt safe enough to come out. Because it's typically not a societally accepted thing to want to fucking punch someone in the face and to express that red energy and then to come back and feel and know and find green and to be loved through red and helped to green was tremendously healing for me. And I think once we're truly seen and empathically witnessed in all of our colors and not made wrong, and we're accepted and even appreciated, because there was always a wisdom in the red that tapped me in more and more to my authentic voice. And as Gabor Mate says, the authentic self is what heals trauma. So, you know, I have a red story about this book, a blue story and a green story and a yellow story. And the red story is, this book was so hard and I wanted to smash you so many times. That's my red story. My blue story is that nobody's going to like it and nobody's going to care. And my green story, in case you didn't notice, she just took a deeper breath. My green story is quite emotional. Like I feel moved by the power that can come with surrender when we let go or at least loosen the grip on a perspective that we have on whatever it is, your mind, your body, another person, a situation. When we can surrender one color and see it with more colors, there is a beauty that is beyond my solo capacity that can emerge through my solo self. And then the yellow story is just giddy delight about this book because I read it again this morning and I was moved to tears twice, good, happy tears, because I was learning from my own words. And I don't know if they were my words or not. I think it's kind of a combination of myself and something bigger than myself. And I appreciated it. So, Chelsea, Candy, Sugar, what are we loving about this moment? I'm loving that we can tune into our authentic self. We can soften and loosen the grips in our body and our mind on pain, which promotes healing.
And thank you, Candy, for saying tired, stressed, and curious. I love the word curious. We were talking about that coming on today. Is that's the start of everything, right? Get curious about your story, curious about your environment, curious about what you're going on, what you're feeling in your body, curious about pain, maybe, curious about why I am where I am. Why do I live here? Why do I work here? Who am I with? Why am I with them? And get really curious about everything.
Yeah, I feel like curiosity is really the like Willy Wonka golden ticket to freedom.
Yeah. So Candy just said that, and that word, I love the word curious, and so thanks for bringing that out. I want to be curious about my triggers and about what makes me happy and what makes me annoyed, and as I get curious, there's a process in the book. We do 3D perspective taking, and we ask questions about our environment, and so mental, physical,
and social. So, another perspective in this book that I think is pretty unique is that all pain has 3 components: physical, emotional, and social. And we tend to get stuck, trapped, and locked into if physical pain, something physical must have happened. And what I've seen just clinically and personally is when we're locked into that physical pain, physical problem, it will force us into, I got to fix this and I got to figure it out. And then we literally don't have access to the brain regions that create and promote curiosity. And so instead of thinking about, oh, I have this physical pain, I lifted a box that's too heavy. Sure, that might be true. What else is going on emotionally and socially? And so when we can be more curious about the three domains of any pain experience, mind pain, body pain, social pain, when we can be curious about that, what's going on in the three dimensions?
Having an awareness. Have you ever walked into a party and went, oh, my shoulder's kind of hurting, and thought, I don't really want to be with these people. Like maybe an event at work or something where you think, I don't really want to be here, but get curious about it enough and stay aware that that may not be the actual pain. The pain's just an alarm for you to pay attention to what's really going on. And that's that mentally, I don't want to be here. And so my body's going, hey, you don't want to be here. Wake up, wake up. And not that you don't continue and go in, but now you're aware of where that stuff's coming from. Your body's an alarm system for all of that.
Yeah. And then I just notice a little red frustration comes up for me in healthcare because the amount of times that that's true and people don't necessarily have access to the 3D curiosity perspective taking because they're locked into the 1D. Neck, shoulder pain, go take some medications. That doesn't solve the social problem. I want to be curious about why I'm so pissed off because I still have a problem with suffering. There we go. Okay. If you buy this, you'll suffer less. So make me happy and buy this book. Candy Sugar, Somatic Experience Alert. The Body Never Lies. Oh,
I love a story in the book that Renee told about someone who had back pain while standing a lot at work. And the doctor suggested that it's because he was on his feet for hours upon hours. And she did the 3D perspective taking. Where else do you stand for hours and hours and don't have back pain? And he said, watching my kids play sports. And he realized that it wasn't that he was standing for long periods of time. He realized it was his job. And so it's just really cool stuff to get curious and around the world storytelling and all this to shift perspective. Let your body be an awareness and alarm system to your mental and to your physical. Pay attention, ask questions, right?
Yeah. And as best as you can with compassion and curiosity.
Absolutely.
And hopefully some of the tools in this book and the shift in your thinking will give you more ways in to that black box, mysterious Pandora's box of your body. And it can become with time less scary, less anxiety producing, and less suffering.
And we'll post in the comments here, and Renee's also on her Facebook page. When we go to on Sunday and we do the workshop, it'll be online and you can do it with us. And it will be a lot about the around the world storytelling. So think about something that you're struggling with right now. Bring it with you. Come to the workshop and let's work through it together in that round of the world storytelling and 3D perspective taking, because we're going to practice that together.
And it's just a beautiful invitation to social engagement and vulnerability. We were not meant to heal alone, and we can heal in relationship. And when we have the courage to tell the truth about our stories and the stories that the body's telling, it really can feel scary, but also invoke vitality because you can put the burden down if there's somebody else there to help you.
It's where healing happens.
Yeah. Let's close up our time with another 3-word check-in. And what's your 3-word check-in? Curious, embarrassed, and delighted.
Happy, grounded, and joyful.
Joyful.
Yeah.
Thank you. What are your 3-word check-ins? And who has a question about the book? Grateful, proud, giddy up.
Thanks, Robin.
Candy, sugar, thankful, grounded, curious. I'm curious
Love
what you're
it.
curious about. Type it in if you'd like. I'd love to hear. Summer, proud, decompressing, and sighing.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, man. From New Mexico to Denver to Dallas, we are contagious, and co-regulation happens through screens. Elise. Ooh, thankful, happy, and cream yellow. That was one of the fun things. That's the other thing I'll say about a 3-word check-in. As any questions come in. 3-word check-in can become a ritual, which taps into a very deep, primal aspect of our human nature. We're wired to be in community, and ritual marks the passing of time and something important and something to celebrate and to honor and be present to. And so a 3-word check-in can mark the start and close of a meeting together. Curious about your book. I'm curious about my book too. I think I've read it 16 times now. So this book, what are you curious about? We have how many chapters? 16 chapters. Yeah. And the last chapter is called Love is All You Need. And it's a really cool combination, in my biased perspective, of the best of psychotherapy, physical therapy, grounded in science, and tells stories. And I don't know that it actually has any answers for you. I view it as a flashlight. Let's say you're in a dark room. You're tormented with some distress, pain, discomfort. Most people, when they're there, they want answers and they want to get out. And one of the frustrating, to be honest, parts of me is that in my experience, long-lasting solutions don't actually work that way. It's a process, it's a journey, which is so cliche, and it really frustrates me. But the more I see it, the more I find that it's true. This book, in my experience, teaches you how to think differently. And when you think different, you can see different. And then suddenly the flashlight points to the light switch on the wall. It's like, oh, let me go there. Boink. And then, wow, everything opens up inside of you. So I don't think this book actually really has any answers, but it has practices and ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving differently, more like a nervous system ninja, perhaps, that allows you to shine the flashlight within yourself and see where the best solutions for you are. Because that's the trickiest part about any kind of pain experience, physical, emotional, social pain, is that the best solution lies within you, not an external authority. But the biggest challenge is that the pain circuits and the solution circuits are in 2 totally different regions. And so it's hard to find the bridge between the 2. So I would consider this book like a flashlight that illuminates paths where you can see, oh, let me step over here instead of here, where they can't see one another. So it is not designed like a workbook. Great Candy question. Great Candy question. Great question, Candy. It has reflection considerations at the end. We may or may not be coming out with a follow-up workbook because we certainly have enough material for it. But please reach out and let us know if we get a lot of requests for it. I would definitely consider.
And I would say that I do believe it has answers. So I'm on the opposite side of that. I think when you read this, it really does give some answers to some probing questions, like, what is our responsibility with our pain? I think you can get an answer in that. It's 100%. You have 100% responsibility about how you feel in your body at any given time. And these tools will support you to get those answers by being curious, by doing the 3-word check-ins, by doing the work that we outline in the tools in the book, it will shift your perspective and you will find the answers. I'm 100% absolutely convinced that you will find answers here if you do the work. And you'll find answers in anything where you do the work. Where, if you go to the gym 2 weeks and you want banging abs, ain't going to happen. Do the work, you can have some banging abs. So do the work in this book and you will find your answers. Be curious.
I
Do
think
the
we're
tools.
saying the same thing,
Yeah.
because the answers ultimately, it's your body, it is your responsibility. And until we learn how to step out of the blame victim game and take responsibility with compassion, not critical condemnation, like the solutions are within us. So I think we're saying the same thing, because
Yes.
I'm saying there's no external solutions in here.
Right.
There are external solutions that take your screen of consciousness, turn it inward with a different eye so you can see different, and then the answers emerge.
Absolutely.
Okay, Summer. Ooh, good idea.
Yeah.
We should do a book club.
Let's
That
do
would be
it.
fun. Yeah. And then Summer, it's a guide for us to discover our own answers through curiosity and the practices in this book. Absolutely. And that's exactly it. It's a guide and it's a process. And
Yep.
there is really no destination or final outcome, because I wrote this book with her and I learned from it this morning when I read it again. And so it's kind of a cool ongoing process for the rest of your life. This book will help you learn how to think, feel, and behave more like a nervous system ninja, which enables you to feel more calm, confident, and curious in the face of the uns, the unpleasant, the unknown, the unexpected,
Undeserved.
the unwanted, undeserved. All right, friends, it has been a delight.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here.
This woman has helped me find my authentic voice, and it lives in this book. And it would just be an honor to hear anything that you have to say about it. It has been an honor to write this book.
Yes.
And I can say it's a success because it changed me as a person.
Changed me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll say it again. If you want to heal old wounds, write a book with someone.
Really,
Thank
probably any kind of creative process, but
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right, friends. Thank you all so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Reach out with any questions, and we love you all.